Assalamu alaikum. Okay. May I request everyone to take their appetizer plates and find a seat to sit down so we can get started. Our aim is to finish the program in its entirety and then go for salat in time. So the program that we have this evening is that we'll start with the tilawat of Quran, followed by Hadith Kisa, and we'll have speeches by our chairman and our president, and followed by mankabat. So we have some youngsters reciting mankabat, and these are not new faces, but what we try to do is we try to give everyone or the youngsters an opportunity to recite their mankabats and gain confidence in the years to come. After the mankabat, we'll have award distribution, and basically what we have done in the past, we have given awards to everyone or all the volunteers we have had, but this time we're going to discriminate, and what we have done is we have limited our award ceremony or award presentation to young men and women. I cannot call them boys and girls because they are men and women, and 21 and under, because these are the youngsters who need motivation to join in the volunteer corps, not only in the masjid, but also in the places where they work and also in the educational institutions they'll be joining. So again, what we want to do is instill that mindset in the youngsters. Again, without the volunteers, you'll see that nothing happens that quickly. Even at home, your youngsters, your boys and girls, they are volunteers. And again, that's where you start. And then it leads to the masjid, it leads to the colleges and universities. So again, and this is in appreciation of not only them, but also their mothers and fathers, because these are the people who bring them and who also spend time in the kitchen, time upstairs. And sometimes we don't even see them, but they are working somewhere. Especially if you look at Ramadan, you come for salat, and then you come downstairs, iftar is ready. And then next day you come, the place is clean upstairs, and there's a fresh menu, fresh food, and somebody is doing that. And it's you people who have been doing it. And again, I cannot thank you for that. And the president or the chairman cannot thank you, but no, this is for the sake of Allah. So speaking of Allah, let us start with the book of Allah, and we ask Abbas Nathani to come and recite Quran. Abbas.
Salawat. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. Have you not seen, O Prophet, how your Lord dealt with the army of the elephant? ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل. Did he not frustrate their scheme? وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل. For he sent against them a flock of birds. ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل. Then pelted them with stones. فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. Leaving them like chewed up straw. Salawat.
And this is how Allah took care of his house, by throwing pebbles at the big elephants. And again, Allah takes care of his worshipping place, and he takes care of his creators. So his creators are you and I. And again, what we have to do is we have to be humble, and we have to worship and do our good deeds. And next, I'll invite Ali Hassan to recite Hadith Kisa. Now, Ali Hassan, he's doing a dual purpose work today. He's taking care of the AV system, and this is a new AV system. I used to control the AV system when we had the old one, but this one I did not go near it because I don't know one thing about it. So again, Ali, you have a lifetime pass to come here, and I mean, your grandfather was here, your father. We miss your grandfather dearly, although I see him when I go to Florida, and we miss your father as well. I mean, he brings you here. So we thank your mother and your father for showing you the light, for bringing you here, and for serving the community. So please recite, come forward and recite Hadith Kisa.
صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جدة. السلام عليك يا من اختار الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلا معهما تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بذأتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيد اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء لأهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا هرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال لأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أحبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبريل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يكريك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبريل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وهفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله حما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسئدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسئدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
Now this is what I call dedication. Ali Hassan came to me on Thursday and he said, Mustafa uncle, if you want I can come and recite at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And my answer to him was, Ali Hassan, if you start at 6 o'clock it'll be just you and me. Okay. So again, Sapna, thank you for coming. And again, he called me again today just to make sure that he was reciting. So Ali, like I said, no, you have a lifetime pass here. You don't have to ask, you just show up. So again, thank you. Maulana is here, so may I request Maulana to say a few words to give ourselves a spiritual boost, because we'll need some of that, and then after that we can repent when we eat. So please, Maulana.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So no formal speech or anything, just inshallah very quickly as we get this program going. First and foremost, like to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart, and as well as everyone here, those who volunteered their important time from their, of course, 24 hours. It's not long time in a day, where especially during the month of Ramadan, because this was supposed to be right after the month of Ramadan, if you take out those few hours that we were here together, and especially those who are working behind the scenes, words cannot describe or to express gratitude toward what you have done. And I think this is where the backbone of any organization stands, that how strong is the volunteerism, and how strong is your community when it comes to coming together in events and putting together programs day in and day out, so that things run smoothly. I'm sure you've been to many centers, and I'm not here going to go ahead and compare anything, but I've been to a lot of centers, especially during the month of Muharram, and even in the month of Ramadan. I stopped traveling during the month of Ramadan for the past few years, but since coming from Qom, since 2005, I've attended many Ramadan, or conducted many Ramadan programs in Albany, in St. Louis, in Boston, and of course many other places. And while the community sizes were different, large or small, the dedication, and this is not a knock on anyone, and it's not a praise on your faces, the dedication that I have seen over here is unmatched. It's something which is unmatched in a sense that how people come together, and they within this committee of our volunteers, they volunteer on their own. We don't have to go out and search for people. That's the beauty of it. Once you have to go out and look for people to come on board. Can you help us out with this? Can you help us out with that? But when people, as Mustafa Bhai just gave example of Ali Hassan, who, by the way, inshallah, going to be, for a long time, a permanent fixture in not just volunteers, but inshallah other activities as masjid progresses. These are the future. This is the future of our masjid, and alhamdulillah, it looks very, very bright. So with that said, of course, what is volunteerism? What is that we, of course, there's no words to go ahead and say specifically that the appreciation is all there. But the fact that it is associated with another concept, and that concept is called ithar, altruism. Ithar is when, so there are two words in Arabic terminology. One is ihsan, and the other is ithar. Now there are two very close words. Ihsan, I'm sure all of you who have Urdu background or Persian or Arabic background, you understand the word ihsan means. Ihsan is when you do a favor to someone, and that's, you don't expect, for example, anything in return, but of course this person that you have done ihsan to is going to go ahead and appreciate what you have done for them. But when you do ihsan, there's a concept of reciprocating. There's a concept of, you expect something that this person will do the same thing in future if something like this happened to you. For example, if I help someone out, tomorrow I'm looking that, if I'm in need, I'm going to go and ask this person because I've helped this person out. That's what ihsan is. Isar is bigger than that. Isar, altruism, is when you do something and you don't expect anything in return. You don't want anything in return. That's where Quran, when talks about in Surah Dahr, chapter 76, also known as Surah Insan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of, of course, Ahlul Bayt and their Isar. What was their Isar? يُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. You also fed people for 30 days. So this sort of fits here as well. That Ahlul Bayt were who? يُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Of course, we weren't feeding the miskin and the yatim and asir over here, but nonetheless, we were feeding mu'mineen. That is also a big reward. You're feeding mu'mineen. And what do you want in return, O Ahlul Bayt? La nuridu minkum jaza'an wala shakura. We do not want anything as far as the jaza, compensation, or even a thank you note from you. This is not this is not intended, or this is not the reason we've done this isar. And that is the biggest way of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you don't expect anything in return. I think that's the culture that is established, mashallah. And that is the culture that has to be inculcated into the newer generation. So while our volunteers are great, I think the better part is that how they get the younger generation involved in it. You know, of course, as we are aging and we're getting old, and there are certain things that are limitations with us, this is where the younger generation comes into play. So what I saw during Ramadan, and outside, inside, here in the banquet, everything running smoothly, that's the dedication, and the reward only lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our big round of applause first for all of you. And a loud nare salawat for your tawfiqat, inshallah. Muhammad. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Thank you very much for listening to me. Sallu ala Muhammad.
Thank you, Maulana Rizwan. Years ago, during the Muharram, during Ramadan, Sister Zainab Bukhari used to come to me, to Dr. Zafar Jafri, with her two young children with pieces of paper in their hands, and requesting that we give an opportunity to the two of them to recite something. That was then. Now is the time that we have to request the two brothers to come and sort of recite in front of us. And again, sort of, this is a way of thank you, Zainab, for starting them out when they're young. So now they become, they were young, and now they're sort of the leaders in the recitation of the mankabas, in the nohas, in the all the recitations upstairs. So again, sort of, we need families or young children like Muhammad and Adam to sort of take, and their parents to take the initiative and get them started. And like Maulana said, we're getting old, and some days our voice will not even come out. So we need people with strong voices to recite. So may I request Adam and Muhammad? And I told you that they used to come with small pieces of paper, but I'm sure now they won't have the small pieces of paper, but instead they'll come with their iPhones. So please, Muhammad and Adam, please bless us with your markabat. Thank you.
Jena jenda lida hubdar nahi, jena jenda lida hubdar nahi, orne jannat da hona hakdar nahi, lao nara lida kubaku lao nara. हक दा इमाम अली नायब रसूल, हक दा इमाम अली नायब रसूल, बाबा हसनैन दाए शोहर बतूल, काबे दे शान अली जीनत अजान अली, दीन ते मान अली हक दिए जान अली, जैना मुर्शद अली सरकार नहीं, जैना मुर्शद अली सरकार नहीं, उन्हें जन्नत दा होना हकदार नहीं, लाओ नारा लीदा खूब बकू लाओ नारा अली दा नारा अली दा यानी हक दे वली दा बकू लाओ नारा अली दा अली अली कहने वाले वली बन जाने ने अली अली कहने वाले वली बन जाने ने शाम से बिठाए लाल बड़ी बन जाने ने लेके सुना नाम अली आखो सरे आम अली हक दा पयाम अली बोलो सुबह शाम अली जेड़ा मन दाली नु सरदार नहीं जेड़ा मन दाली नु सरदार नहीं होने जन्नत दा होना हकदार नहीं लाओ नारा अली दा या बकू लाओ नारा अली दा अली जय जगोते कोई बाकमाल नहीं अली जय जगोते कोई बाकमाल नहीं अली दी ताक दादी कोई भी मसाल नहीं नबी दे वीर अली जगदा मीर अली मोमिना दा पीर अली साडा दस्तगीर अली जेंदा दिल विच अली दा प्यार नहीं जेंदा दिल विच अली दा प्यार नहीं होने जन्नत दा होना हकदार नहीं लाओ नारा अली दा बकू लाओ नारा अली दा सलवात
Sara Dastigar Ali. When I was in college, I used to room with 4 Sikh Sardars. And don't ask me how it was, but today it paid off because I understood every word of what Muhammad and okay. So next for the Bankabat, again, like I said, these are the 2 upcoming youngsters. And again, we have a gem in the sand that we found years ago. He was very quiet, laid back, and we had to sort of find him, and we have to convince him that he needs to come up to the mic and sort of present his works, or even if it's not his works, but at least recite for us. And today, we request Kamran Mendi to bless us with his soothing and nice voice.
एक मरतबा और मिलकर बाबा से बुलंद सलवात पढ़ लें। चार मिसरों से आगाज़ करूँगा। खोल दी आँखें बाली पर हमने पाकर खुशबूए अली खोल दी आँखें बाली पर हमने पाकर खुशबूए अली और फिर नहीं देखा और किसी को देख के हमने सूए अली फिर नहीं देखा और किसी को देख के हमने सूए अली, और कब आए कब गए फरिश्ते, कब्र से हमको क्या मालूम, कब आए कब गए फरिश्ते, कब्र से हमको क्या मालूम, हम तो थे मसरूफ इबादत और देख रहे थे रूए अली, खोल दी आँखें बाली पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु। एक मनक़बत के आप लोगों की सुनी हुई है, दो चार अशार पेश करता हूँ। क्या कहूँ नहीं है क्या और क्या अली का है, क्या कहूँ नहीं है क्या और क्या अली का है, जो है सब खुदा का है और खुदा अली का है, जो है सब खुदा का है और खुदा अली का है, और जाने क्या पसंद आया हक को ये खुदा जाने, जाने क्या पसंद आया हक को ये खुदा जाने, खल्क करके दो आलम कह दिया अली का है, खल्क करके दो आलम कह दिया अली का है, और है खुदा मोहम्मद से हम कलाम तो लेकिन, डॉक्टर साहब है खुदा मोहम्मद से हम कलाम तो लेकिन, हम कलाम होने में वास्ता अली का है, हम कलाम होने में वास्ता अली का है, और जिसके साथ जी चाहे आप जाइए लेकिन, जिसके साथ जी चाहे आप जाइए लेकिन, जान लीजिए सीधा रास्ता अली का है, जान लीजिए सीधा रास्ता अली का है। और आखिरी शेर चूँकि बहुत टाइम इसमें हो जाएगा कि सर नहीं झुकाते हैं हक पे सर कटाते हैं, सर नहीं झुकाते हैं हक पे सर कटाते हैं, ये दिया हुआ हमको हौसला अली का है, ये दिया हुआ हमको हौसला अली का है। एक मरतबा मिल के बाबा से बुलंद सलवात पढ़ते मोहम्मद वाले पर।
That's very beautiful, Kamran. Thank you very much. Not only has he a good voice, but he has got a good taste in his wardrobe. I like your jacket, which is like this. Okay. Now, may I request the chairman of MFI, Dr. Iqbal Jafri, to come and say a few words. Dr. Iqbal Jafri, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My dear sisters, my dear brother, and my dear youth, and respected Maulana Sahab and honorable members of the board, on behalf of Masjid-e-Ali board executive committee, Parvez Bhai will say, I thank you very much for your help. If I see on both sides of the aisle, I see faces who were here when nobody was here. Maulana Sahab says altruism and Isa, but I see some of you and most of our volunteers, they went beyond that. When COVID, we were afraid because of our life. That disease did not have any bounds at that time. People were dying. People were going directly, taking their loved ones to the cemeteries. But I see Masjid-e-Ali volunteers. They came from men and women, and they did ghusl. Now this is one step, advanced than Isa. This is sacrifice. So honestly speaking, we are very lucky to have you, and you are lucky to have Allah. When you are when you are fasting and serving food, it was you are serving to the people who were fasting, and rewards are tremendous. We do not know, we do not count. So I'm not going to take much time to say thanks. It's beyond my power. I do not have that words to say thanks. I need strength. And I will call our board members to come with me and say thanks together. Please, if you don't mind, at least we can stand together and say thanks, because you deserve more than this. Maulana Sahab, obviously we need you to Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now we are saying thanks. We pray for you. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless your marhumin. May Allah bless your children. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
Iqbal Bhai, thank you very much. Even though there were a few words, it's good motivation coming from the chairman of the board. And now may I request my brother, I call him brother, and I call Nahid my sister. So even in formal places, I still refer to them as my brothers and my sisters. So if I can request my brother Parvez Hamadani to come and say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum. Brothers, sisters, maybe somebody who may be a couple of elders, because we are approaching the age where I think when you talk about elders, you probably look at a few faces and think about yourself too. And most of you, my young children, that's why I call a lot of you by your first names, because I consider you my sons, my daughters, and this masjid's sons and daughters who in the future are going to stand up and inshallah, what was a small candle which became a big mosque, which became a big organization. I am totally dependent on you to take the responsibility and ensure that you will keep this flag high and get the message of the Ahlul Bayt, which I've been saying repeatedly, not just within the community, but outside the community. Unless and until we do that, we are not going to prosper in this world which is getting harsh, which is seeing all the calamities you're seeing every day. I may sound like a broken record to somebody, but because there are new faces, I'm going to repeat this, especially to the kids who are and young adults watching. Enter the mainstream of life in this gifted country where you have got the opportunity to do so. Many people count their successes, and by the grace of Allah, I was vice president for 2 terms. I've been now president for 2 terms. But you know what? My successes are all because of the fact that I had volunteers like you today and before, since all these years, to make things happen. And I can't thank you any more than from the bottom of my heart that you made it successful and possible for us to do all the events which this masjid did in good and bad days. So thank you very much once again. Now, everything successful is yours. But some failures, I'll take it on me. I've been repeatedly trying to do this and accomplish this. And I'm saying this because I see these young ladies, young gentlemen sitting over here. Venture out into the different fields. Grow yourself professionally. Grow yourself into the best of not just doctors, not just accountants, not just engineers, and there's no harm in becoming any one of these, but if you become the best of the best, so that your names can be recognized, your articles appear in the peer-reviewed journals, you are looked upon as leaders. If there's one anti-Fauci, I hope one day there'll be somebody from this masjid who will be a Hussein or a Hassan who will also be in that same situation where you can be the top-notch doctor. Also, venture into the areas where we lack our presence. Go into the country's journalism. Go into the country's system, the political system. I know I spoke to some youth and they say, uncle, politics is a very dirty game. No, it's not a dirty game. Politics is a part of life, and if you look at it from the point of a dictionary definition, politics is the art of running the affairs of the nation. Now it's different, it's practiced differently, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of politics, but being on the right side of politics is something which is the only way you will be able to tomorrow send senators, congressmen, mayors from this community. And if you do not make an effort to do that, then you will conduct your own programs, you'll have every wiladat, every shahadat, you'll have Ramadan, but you know what? You will be basically dissected out from the mainstream America, and the last thing we want to do is not to be a part of mainstream America. Having said that, be proud of what your heritage is. If the Irish American can do their march in New York, the German Americans can do their march and their German festival, but still they're all Americans, so why can't we? It would have been great. My dream was, and I couldn't accomplish it, and somebody in this room maybe or outside may accomplish it tomorrow, is that I hoped and wished that in all these years we have, and I've been talking to Maulana consistently, and he has tried his best too, we'd like to see more people who are white Americans, Hispanic Americans, African Americans, and not just be, a community which is blocked into Asians or maybe Arabs or Persians. So that effort needs to come genuinely if you want to progress, and if you want your children to progress and not to be treated as outsiders forever. And you'll have to do this because tomorrow their challenges are much more difficult than the challenges we faced and what some of the middle-aged friends of mine or brothers of mine and sisters of mine are facing today. Their challenges are just horrific, and you have to be with the realities of those changes. Having said that, things which I wanted to say, actually Maulana took part of my speech away by the lecture he gave, so that's okay. In any case, I would have quoted him, but we sent him before me, so I had very little left to say.
Nobody was listening to me, you can say that again.
So should I start your style? Okay. No, I'm not going to repeat that. What I'm going to say is, the higher you grow, or the higher you go, the humble you must be. The most highest has got to be the most humble. Whatever Allah has given you today, never let pride overcome you. And I'm counseling myself, I'm not saying you, and I'm counseling myself, and then what he said basically translates the fact. If you talk about Imam Musi Kazim alayhi salam, then let's control our temper. When you listen to these umpteen speeches given by the Maulana, then let's try to be honest to ourselves. Let's learn to live as a community where we do things not to please each other or to gain recognition for ourselves, but to get recognition from Allah. It doesn't bother me at all if somebody says tomorrow what I did. What's most important to me is the qurbat of Allah. If what I've done in my life is pleasing to Allah, the rest doesn't matter. And that is the spirit with which I have seen you people work together as a family. There is nobody who's got an own agenda. There should be a common agenda, a common goal. We are all just one big family, blessed by the Ahlul Bayt, blessed by Allah, and I truly hope that you enjoy this evening, have a good dinner, and after dinner, remember, we are getting a special comedy show for you, so you'll have dessert out after the salat. So don't forget the dessert. Most people won't forget the dessert, but we'll have a good comedy too. So honestly, it's been a pleasure to have you this evening. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Allah bless you all, and Allah make this foundation and this masjid and this school a successful place for generations to come. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Parvez Bhai. If I can add a line or two, being part of American culture is not only going to McDonald's or wearing Nike t-shirts and Nike sneakers. It is going to be that you get your names in the peer journals, in the newspapers, and in a good way. I mean, in the newspapers, you want to, okay. So let us take these words that Parvez Bhai has given, and again, let us become good, successful American citizens. Okay. Now is the time to award the certificates. What we have done is we have prepared certificates, and this time what we have done, like I said before, we have limited the certificate presentation to our youngsters. And this is a way to encourage them, and like I said before, to encourage them to sort of participate more in volunteerism, not only here, but in the places of work, in the places where they go to universities and colleges. And this is, again, like I said, it's an initiation ceremony for them for the future. So again, what we have done, like we have prepared certificates, and again, if we have omitted somebody's name, I apologize ahead of time. And what we'll do is we'll take your names and we'll make good, and we'll prepare the certificates and mail them to you. So again, my apologies if we don't have your name on the certificates, but it will come to you. With that, may I request Maulana to come for the presentation.
So I'll call upon Alvina Aftab. Rayyan Alidina, I think he's not here, but a round of applause for him. Bismillah, Murtabhai. नहीं बिल्कुल तस्वीर भी हो जाएगी ना. Thank you.
And just to be mean to Murtaza Bhai, I'm going to wait for him to sit down, and I call his another child.
Sahar Alidina.
That's a picture, a good one, please.
Maliha Allu. Maliha? नहीं आप आके ले जाए. आप आ जाए. Ali Allu. MashaAllah. Muhammad Butt, come on over. I think the other one is on the line too. Adam, you. So I had the pleasure of, being his Sunday school teacher this year as well. Yeah. I can't say much more than that. Adam Butt, Bismillah. Allahumma salli ala. Online teaching is a challenge, and especially when kids don't turn on their webcams. Anam Fazal. Anam. Hassan Fazal. Hassan? Nahi hai? All right, you can take it from him. Twice. Oh boy. Ali Hassan Hussain. Alia Merchant. Alia. हुसैन भाई आप आ जाए. आज दादिया आपको नहीं देखा ना. माशाल्लाह. तस्वीर तो कोमल नाथानी. Sana Nathani. Thank you. Sayyida Zoha Haider Tirmizi. I will take a picture anyway. Sayyid Zohaib Haider Tirmizi. Yeah, go ahead. Look over there. Thank you. Sayyida Zaina Tirmizi. Zain Abbas Tirmizi. Thank you, Zain. Ali Jawad Versi. Iman Fatima Zaidi. Thank you. Good job. Mishal Fatima Zaidi. So as we said before, yes, there might be some names that were left out, and so Mustafa Bhai had already apologized in advance. Mustafa, she's trying to get your attention. So there are a couple more names, yes. Sayyid Hussain Shah. Hussain? Hussain, yeah? I'll keep this. I'll keep this. So just to recognize Sayyid Hadi Ali Shah. Yes, Hadi. Hadi, come over. I need my picture with you. All right. Go on this one. Keep it.
Anybody knows if. Just a quick announcement. If we have missed anybody, I can guarantee you it's not intentional. It's just an error or an oversight. So if you're aware of some kid who has worked and has not been recognized, please give the name or put your hand up. Rida Zainab Kareem. Is there anybody else whom we have missed? You go ahead.
Mason Tejani. Is he here? He's not here. Ammar and Zain. They're not here? Okay. And I think we're also missing Nathani bhai ke bete ka kya naam hai? Abbas Nathani. Zorez, Abbas, all of them. उसने क्या किया? Saniya Zahra. There we go. When we say volunteer and I don't see him, it does not complete. Yes, Zorez. Sani, aaja. Once again, thank you everyone, and apologies for not presenting to these younger kids in the proper way. Inshallah, we'll make up to that. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Okay. Dinner is ready, but before you go to the dining tables, I have some bookmarks here. These are with Masjid-e-Ali's logo. We have limited number of bookmarks, so I request that take one per family. So one person from the family can please come and sort of help themselves. Thank you very much. And again, Safna, thank you very much for coming, and enjoy your dinner. And after Salat, we'll have dessert and comedy show. So please join in. Thank you. हाँ ले ले
Hello. 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 I just wanted to interrupt you for a few minutes. I have two of the distinguished members of the board, and Dr. Aftab and Dr. Manzoor Rizvi. Dr. Manzoor Rizvi has written some special couplets for the volunteers, and I know you can keep on eating, but his son Zaki is going to recite them. But before that, I'll call Dr. Aftab Hussain, who is all well known to you, and he has a few words to say. So Dr. Aftab, can you please join us? Zaki कहाँ गया? Zaki, you. Okay, Dr. Aftab has requested that maybe Zaki should do his little poetry first, and then Dr. Aftab will say a few words. Thank you. Keep on eating.
Assalamu alaikum. Hamdani uncle said keep on eating, but if you can listen, that'd be great too. एक नारे सलवात. कुछ चंद शेर आपके सामने पेश कर रहा हूँ. कुछ शेर मस्जिद के बारे में, कुछ शेर वॉलंटियर्स के बारे में, तो हम बताते जाएंगे इंशाल्लाह. एक और बार मिलकर के नारे सलवात. तस्बीह हो हम दो ज़िक्रे खुदा की बहार है. तस्बीह हो हम दो ज़िक्रे खुदा की बहार है. मस्जिद अली की रहमतें परवरदिगार है. मस्जिद अली की रहमतें परवरदिगार है. हर दम नबी का जिक्र है या अहले बैत का. हर दम नबी का जिक्र है या अहले बैत का. कुरान की आयतों से फिजा नगमा बार है. हर दम नबी का जिक्र है या अहले बैत का. कुरान की आयतों से फिजा नगमा बार है. मस्जिद है, मदरसा है, मजालिस है, महफिलें. मस्जिद है, मदरसा है, मजालिस है, महफिलें. हर चीज़ बेनज़ीर है और बावकार है. हर चीज़ बेनज़ीर है और बावकार है. कुछ और ये फाउंडर्स के लिए कुछ शेर. कुछ दर्दमंदे कौम उठे लेके, कुछ दर्दमंदे कौम उठे लेके रब का नाम. कुछ दर्दमंद कौम उठे लेके रब का नाम. ये उनकी काविशात का आईनादार है, ये उनकी काविशात का आईनादार है। इन बंदगान खास का इस दिन के लिए, इन बंदगान खास का इस दिन के लिए ज़ौक़े बुलंद हुस्ने अमल आशिकार है। और कुछ वॉलंटियर्स के शेयर के लिए है मस्जिद-ए-अली पे जो वॉलंटियर निसार, है मस्जिद-ए-अली पे जो वॉलंटियर निसार, रहमत खुदाए पाक की उन पर निसार है। इन है मस्जिद-ए-अली पे जो वॉलंटियर निसार, है मस्जिद-ए-अली पे जो वॉलंटियर निसार, रहमत खुदाए पाक की उन पर निसार है। इनको मिलेगा इसका सिला दो जहान में, इनको मिलेगा इसका सिला दो जहान में। वो है करीम उसका करम बेशुमार है। न्यू जर्सी मोमिन के लिए कुछ शेर। तामीर कैसे होता है मिलजुल के आसमान, तामीर कैसे होता है मिलजुल के आसमान। जर्जी के मोमिनीन से ये आशिकार है, जर्जी के मोमिनीन से ये आशिकार है। मौलाना रिजवान के कुछ शेर। अल्लाह सरपरस्त है रिजवान गहबान, अल्लाह से परस्त है रिजवान गहबान। कल इसका आज से भी कहीं शानदार है। मक्ता पेश कर रहा हूँ। मंजूर ने लिखा है ज़की ने इसे पढ़ा, मंजूर ने लिखा है ज़की ने इसे पढ़ा। दोनों के वास्ते सबब इफ्तिखार है, दोनों के वास्ते सबब इफ्तिखार है। मंजूर ने लिखा है ज़की ने इसे पढ़ा, मंजूर ने लिखा है ज़की ने इसे पढ़ा। दोनों के वास्ते सबब इफ्तिखार है। मस्जिद-ए-अली की रहमते परवरदिगार है। सलावत।
announcing for the prayers or? They can go up for the prayers. Yes. Do you want to do it? We have about 6 or 7 minutes before the Salat. I would request you now that if you are finished, kindly start making your way up. We will do the Salat, and then remember to come back and enjoy the dessert and enjoy a really good evening of some, I think, good comedy which we have coming up. So please kindly proceed to the masjid upstairs and let's do our Salat-e-Maghribain. Jazakallah.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
He's doing something. It works. It was good.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد كذلك الله ربي الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. إن صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Hello? Hold. Hi.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. اللهم صل. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. اللهم صل. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن مولانا أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا في الدنيا والآخرة إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآله سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم بحول الله وقوته يقوم وقعود الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآله سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآله الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد تسبيح اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي فأجول في طلبه البلدان فأنا فيما أنا طالب كالحيران لا أدري في سهل هو أم في جبل أم في أرض أم في سماء أم في بر أم في بحر وعلى يدي من ومن قبل من وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيديك وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك اللهم فصل على محمد وآله واجعل يا ربي رزقك لي واسعا ومطلبه سهلا ومأخذه قريبا ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا فإنك غني عن عذابي وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك فصل على محمد وآله وجد على عبدك بفضلك إنك ذو فضل عظيم إلهي يدم البلاء وبرح الخفاء وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجاء وضاقت الأرض ومنعت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتكى وعليك المعول في شدة والرخاء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين أفرزت علينا طاعتهم ورفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر أهو أقرب يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة 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 العجل 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 يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا نبي الله السلام عليك يا خاتم النبيين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى سبط رسول الله السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام عليك ابن رسول الله السلام عليك وعلى جدك وأبيك وعلى أمك وأخيك السلام عليكم جميعا شهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين السلام عليك محمد بن علي السلام عليك جعفر بن محمد السلام عليك موسى بن جعفر السلام عليك علي بن موسى السلام عليك محمد بن علي السلام عليك علي بن محمد السلام عليك حسن بن علي السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا تفسير الفرقان السلام عليك يا إمام التبلجان أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته اللهم صل على محمد وآل اللهم صل على محمد وآل اللهم صل على محمد وآل हाथ मिलाओ सबसे सबसे हाथ मिलाओ दोनों हाथ अल्लाहु अकबर
Mic check. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Just a quick announcement, we're going to be starting the show in 2 minutes, so if everyone who's outside could please get their dessert and make their way to their seats right now, we'd like to get the show started. Thank you. Mic check. Nare Salawat. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today and welcome. Congratulations to all the volunteers and families that were recognized during the earlier part of the program. Just really quickly, I was asked to introduce tonight's guest. And before I do that, I just want to, just like any reasonable person, I'm going to take advantage of being up here on the stage and being given the mic. So I'm going to talk about a few things, just share a few things with you guys. Many of you may not know me because I've been living in California for the past 8 years, but I'm Dr. Aftab Hussein's son. So that's one identifier. And my whole life I've been known, what was that? Yes, I'm the cop. The cop.
And you write your prescription.
So my whole life I've been known as Dr. Aftab Hussein's son, and it's gotten me pretty far. So yeah, I'm not ashamed of that. That's definitely helped me out a lot. But when Dr. Aftab Hussein gets pulled over by the Edison police, he says I'm Abbas's father. So it goes both ways, the relationship. So no ticket. So far nothing, yeah. So now that I can't see anything because of the spotlight, but the gentleman who called out cop, some of you may know that I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer for 15 years or something like that. And you guys know that police officers have different tools available to them. Can anybody think of any tools that police officers have either on their belt or in their car? Or this young lady said gun. Anybody? Taser, pepper spray. Okay, so I got it. Thank you so much for your participation. Let me tell you as a veteran police officer that what my absolute favorite tool as a police officer is. My absolute favorite tool that had the best bang for your buck, you could say, the highest return on investment, was my sense of humor, okay? And the same thing applies to any high-stress job like doctors, lawyers, social workers, psychiatrists, whatever you are. If you're in public service and you have a public-facing career, it's really your sense of humor that's going to get you. Think about what happened with COVID. As soon as COVID hit, everybody lost their minds. There was a lot of confusion, but it was our capacity for cooperation and our sense of humor that kind of got us through those difficult past couple of years and will allow us to continue to progress, right? So sense of humor is something I think that in the Muslim community is kind of underappreciated. We don't understand that how important this is. It's actually part of our religion is to make others feel better, to laugh, to enjoy in a healthy kind of, legitimate way. But just think about that. How much time do you spend laughing, right? We could all do a better job. And luckily we have someone in our community, Brother Salman Jaffrey, who's my childhood friend, who I've always known to be the funniest guy growing up, and I still feel that he's one of the funniest people that I know. And it's really a blessing for our community that we have someone like him. Now, how many people here go to Rutgers? Do we have any Rutgers students? Do we have any Rutgers? Okay. I went to Rutgers. I'm a Rutgers graduate. I graduated a couple years late, no big deal. Still got a job. But one of the biggest stereotypes against Muslims is that Muslim crowds don't know how to make noise for their performers. Is that true? I hope not. So let's put our hands together and let's make some noise for my very good childhood friend, Brother Salman Gul Jaffrey. And let's give him the stage. Let's make some noise. And let's keep making noise tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Abbas. You know how much time you took from me, bro? You have any idea? It's good to be here. First and foremost, again, I'm going to say, welcome back to Abbas. It's been a long time, brother. And it's good to see you, okay? So big round of applause for Abbas, please, guys. Thank you, man. And also, again, a big round of applause for the reason that we are here tonight, the volunteers who have dedicated themselves so much. I mean, let's be honest, everything is running because of them. Big round of applause for them too, please. You can do better than that. They deserve it. All right. There we go. Ali, you told me this was going to be okay, but we're going to talk later. These last few days, I have been reminiscing about my life, about the experiences. Yeah, it's hilarious. I've been reminiscing about the experiences that I had, and I think in life, everybody sometimes what they do is they look back, they think about all the things that they did, the experiences that they had that shaped them, right? In my case, I also think about the people that came in my life and that left my life. उसी के सिलसिले में 4 मिसरे हैं, मुलाहिज़ा फरमाइए। मैं साहिलों पे रहूं फिर भी मुझको प्यास रहे, मैं साहिलों पे रहूं फिर भी मुझको प्यास रहे, तेरे दिल की बद्दुआ थी कोई ना मेरे पास रहे, मगर मैं फिर भी दुआ करता हूँ तहे दिल से, मगर मैं फिर भी दुआ करता हूँ तहे दिल से, खुदा करे तेरे साथ घर में तेरी सास रहे। अब पिछली बार जब मैंने ये जब कथा मैंने पेश किया था, कुछ बहुत सारे लोग जब थे, तो कुछ आंटियां थीं, उन्होंने इस बात पे उन्होंने एतराज़ किया और बड़ी मेरी क्लास ली उन लोगों ने, और उन्होंने कहा बेटा ये अच्छी बात नहीं है जो आपने की है, आपको सास के हक़ के बारे में भी कुछ कहना चाहिए। 4 मिसरे उनके लिए हैं, मुलाहिज़ा फरमाइए। फ़कत एक शेर था मैंने सुनाया सास के बारे, फ़कत एक शेर था मैंने सुनाया सास के बारे, फ़कत एक शेर था मैंने सुनाया सास के बारे, गलत फहमी इतनी हुई कि मेरी क्लासें हों, मुझे सास के रिश्ते से खुद इतनी अक़ीदत है, मेरी ज़ाती तमन्ना है मेरी 2-3 सासें हों। ये जो अभी जिसने ये भी बात की है ना, I was very foolish, क्योंकि right now my wife is not here, so I can say this joke. लेकिन मुझे शक ये पड़ रहा है कि आज रात को फ़ोन ज़रूर आएगा कोई ना कहीं से। रोहित, तुमने सुना है सलमान ने कल क्या कहा था आज रात को? I've been married for about 7, 8, I think 9 years now. I can't. And a lot of experiences have happened. And I'm sure, look, there are people out there who are married, who are far more experienced in this and have more, that know what's going on. I'm still kind of a rookie, right? But just out of a show of hands, and I'm maybe going to ask this to my sisters, how many of you watch Urdu dramas, like Pakistani dramas? Raise your hand. Yeah, great, yeah, okay. आप लोगों की वजह से ज़िंदगी अज़ाब में हो गई है मेरी. My wife is a big fan, and they have these really depressing names when it comes to these dramas like Hum Sab Mar Jayenge. Yeah. I used to watch this one. It was what was it called? Dusri Biwi. And I was getting into it, and then my wife put a stop to that real quickly. I get home one day from work. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and my wife is sitting down, glued to the TV. I put my stuff down, and my wife says, "Salman, jaldi aiye, the best part is about to come up." And I sit down, and I say, "What's going to happen?" And she says, "You see this girl right there? Ye jo ladki dekh rahe hain aap?" Maine kaha, "Haan." Kehti hai, "She's about to poison her husband and his entire family." Now let me make this very clear, okay? I had no problem with this particular scene, okay? What was disturbing me was the level of enthusiasm that my wife had for this particular scene. I'm sitting there, I'm watching this, and then after the show was done, and mind you, you can't find out if they died or not until the next episode. Right? My wife says to me, well, I asked my wife, I said, how is she going to kill all these people? And my wife says to me, unke khane mein zehar mila diya. There was about like 10 people in that scene, right? And after it was done, the show was over. My wife says to me, you know what, Salman, you've had a long day. Chale, maine khana pakaya. Let's go eat. और फिर लोग मुझे पूछते हैं, यार गुल तुम कितने पतले क्यों हो यार? Marriage is a big thing, right? A lot of kids who are now growing up, they want to get married. And you know, for us as Muslim, right, there are certain rules and regulations. Kuch aqeede hote hain, there's some halal ways of doing things, right? And with that comes halal pickup lines, and some of these things are fantastic. They get very creative with this. Now, the thing is that if you cross a mean Muslim sister, the one that you do not want to cross, they will answer you back and set you in your place in less than a second. I had a friend of mine saw a nice, beautiful hijabi girl. Hey, you are hot. Yeah, so is Jahannam. You know? One of my friends walking down sees a nice Shia girl. Yo, Shiite? She must be Shiite, man, because she aight, bro. Okay. No? Hey, sister, how are you? You know, I know we're allowed to have 4, but that's not necessary because you are a 10, you know? The best one I heard was, आप मुझे अपना नंबर दे दीजिएगा ताकि मैं फजर की नमाज के लिए आपको उठा लूँ. Times are very different, folks. We are living in a very, very different time. You all know that. There's a lot of things to be scared about out there. In my time, and I can speak for myself, कि जब, you know, when you were looking for a girl, and what you would do is that usually हमारे जो बुजुर्ग थे, जब हमें कोई लड़की पसंद थी तो पहले हम उसकी history लेते थे through a third party, right? कि पता करो, you know, कैसी औरत है, what type of woman is she, right? That was then. Now it's a little bit different, okay? Now times are such where you have to sit down and figure out, has she always been a woman her entire life? This is the stupid, stupid world we are now living in. Doesn't get any dumber than that, folks. It's very different times, very different. I remember growing up, I always thought that God hated me. मैं समझता था कि अल्लाह मुझसे नफरत करते हैं, you know. My mom, God rest her soul, I remember when she used to call me and she was like, "Beta, come downstairs." And I was like, "Acha, aa raha hu." And now I would never go right away. I would take about maybe 3-4 minutes before I went downstairs. And then I'm running downstairs and I'm overcompensating for the time that I wasn't there. I fall, I bang my head on the coffee table, and my mother says to me, "Dekha, dekha, Allah did that." अपने माँ बाप की बात नहीं सुनते तुम, you know? Everything was my fault. I remember my dad's a diabetic. I remember one time I asked my mother, I said, "Mom, how did Dad get diabetes?" Because of you guys. You guys give him stress, you know? I've also realized growing up in this community, I love this community, I really do. Despite the ups and downs, this is my family. No, I've come from a small khandan. This is my family here. Absolutely, 100%. Now, Ramzan just passed, right? And sometimes you overhear conversations. Sometimes I hear hamari jo sisters hain, you'll hear conversations every once in a while. Now, what I have realized is that in our language, chahe usko Hindi kein, Urdu kein, whatever, we can get away with saying things that we probably could not say to someone who speaks English. I'll give you an example, okay? Standing outside, I see one friend seeing another friend after a long time. Bano, kya haal hai? Kaisi ho yaar? Kafi dinon baad mulaqat ho rahi hai. Moti ho gayi ho? English translation. Hey Bano, how you doing? Long time no see. Man, you got fat. You know? It's true. Does it make any sense? You can't say that to somebody if you go walking down, hey, you got fat, man. Won't work. You know? My mother had a very efficient way. She used to, when she wanted to let me know that she was angry with me, she would say what I just said and add 2 words at the end of that sentence. And those 2 words were, ke bache. For example. अम्मी मैं बाहर जा रहा हूँ बाहर जा रहा हूँ के बच्चे अम्मी मैं देर से आ जाऊंगा देर से आ जाऊंगा के बच्चे I remember one time हमारे घर एक मेहमान आ रहे थे अब्दुल अंकल मैंने अम्मी को कहा मैंने कहा अम्मी अब्दुल अंकल आ गए she goes अब्दुल अंकल के बच्चे वहाँ डैडी बेयर बैठे हुए थे It looked weird. I'm like, what does that mean? I can't tell you how many times I've been called pagal ke bachche by my father, which makes absolutely no sense at all. Pagal ke bachche, English translation, you are the son of a stupid man. Makes no sense. I remember one time I wanted to catch my dad and I wanted to मैं उनको जवाब देना चाहता था and I was ready for it. And dad says to me, pagal ke bachche, and I said, beta kiska hu? I tried to knock some sense into him. The sense into him happened, but it was with a size 9 Bata chappal that day. You know? It is what it is, man. Growing up in this community, now we have Pakistani, we have Indian, we have Irani, there's a whole mosaic here, right? Whether you're Pakistani, whether you're Indian, I'm not going to get into whole logistics, I'm sure people have their opinions about this, right? But we are all one, hum sab ek hain. Aftab uncle, kya main galat keh raha hu? मैं बिल्कुल गलत कह रहा हूँ अभी I'm 100% wrong उसमें को there are some differences थोड़ी सी बारीकियाँ हैं there's some differences I'll give you an example this is I don't know if anyone's picked up on this before but if you happen to get a Pakistani man pissed off okay अगर आपकी वजह से उसको कुछ नुकसान पहुँचा है उसको total loss हो गया है तो वो आपके मुंह पे कहेगा कि तूने मेरी ज़िंदगी हराम कर दी मैं कहीं का नहीं रहा अल्लाह करे तू मरे he will tell you all those things right Indian guy is a little bit different total loss हो जाए कंगाल हो जाए वो आदमी वो सिर्फ यही कहेगा अरे भाई हम तो गुलाब लेने आए थे आपने तो पूरा गुलदस्ता ही हमें दे दिया My father is from Pakistan, and I remember, his English is a second language for him. And I remember once we went to a slaughterhouse in Brooklyn. I think it was Eid. I think it was Bakra Eid. It had to have been because we went to a slaughterhouse. That's what I'm assuming it was Bakra Eid. And we go there, and we went there for Qurbani, so they had all these goats and sheep over there. And they were bringing it in, so that we can take a look at it and do our Qurbani and whatever. My father is a retired veterinarian. So when they brought the sheep over, my father took an examination first. And now, for those that don't know, I'm sure you do, maybe you don't, but when we do Qurbani, you have to make sure that the animal is not hurt, right? There's no wound on it, stuff like that. So my father was checking. And my father says, stop, 1 second, there's a wound right here. This animal is hurt. We cannot use this one. And the guy, who was an Arab-speaking guy, and English was a second language for him, says, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, okay? Now, the thing is that when you see two people where English is not their first language, and they start arguing with each other, it is the most hilarious thing ever. And my father tries to tell him, "Kid, look on this right hind leg right over here. There's an infection that is coming out with the thromboxins and all this platelets and everything else." And the guy says, "How do you know that?" And my father says to him, he says, "Hey, don't lie to me, man. I'm a veterinarian." And the Arab guy, I swear to God, looks back at my father and says, "If you are a vegetarian, you don't need to be here in the first place." It's trippy, man. And then people say, "Why do I have problems? Why did you turn out the way you are?" Because these are the things, I remember I went on a flight. I was sitting down with a bunch of friends, and the plane hadn't taken off yet. About 7, 8 of us, Pakistani Indian friends. And we're taking a picture. And one of my friends, he says, "Oh man, you photobombed me." Now, there's certain words you don't say on the plane. Right? Maybe other people can get away with it. We cannot get away with it, okay? And he says, "You photobombed me." The interesting thing is, about maybe 20 minutes later, we had another picture taken of us, but it was in the TSA office. Yeah, we were escorted right off that plane, And nowadays, you all know, everything is so politically driven. So much talking about racism and whatever, whether you're black, you're white, whatever. Insan hota hai. There's one human family. I think we've lost sight of that, right? But if you go to work, you'll see the white people sitting together. You see the black people sitting together. You see a few others sitting together. And just by chance once, I remember I went to a couple of my white friends. I said, "Hey, man, what are you guys talking about?" He goes, "Black people." Then I happened to go to my black friends. I said, "Yo, what are you guys talking about?" He goes, "White people." Muslims are the best if you go to them. "Hey, yo, what are you guys talking about?" "Muslims." Never tell your Muslim friend any good news. Never. Don't ever do it, folks. I just had a White Castle fish sandwich. It was the best sandwich I ever had. And he told me, "Do you know they fried in the other stuff too?" Lanat hai, bro. I had that. I just thought about a joke. I just remembered a joke if you guys want to hear a joke. There's an old couple, and about 80 years old. And the 80-year-old woman and husband are in the grocery store, they're shopping. And the old lady gets arrested for stealing, okay? When they go in front of the judge says, "What did you steal?" And the 80-year-old woman replies, "I stole a can of peaches." Says, "Okay, a can of peaches, that's 6 days. Aapko 6 din, aapne 6 peaches liye, to 6 din aap jail mein rahenge." Her husband, Buddha, struggled and gets up, and he looks at the judge and he says, "Your Honor, ye aapko batana bhool gayi hai. Isne ek matar ka can bhi chori kiya tha." I like that joke. I always like that joke. एक और लतीफ़ा याद आ रहा है. क्योंकि Russia is in the news nowadays, right? Russia का हिरन खो गया. Russia का हिरन खो गया और सारी दुनिया की पुलिस उन्होंने बुलाई ताकि ये हिरन जाके वो ढूंढ लें. American पुलिस आई, Japanese पुलिस आई, बांग्लादेशी पुलिस आई, पाकिस्तानी पुलिस आई, सब आई. सबसे पहले हिरन को देखने के लिए बांग्लादेशी पुलिस जंगल में गई. 1 घंटे बाद बाहर आ गए कि हम अंदर नहीं जा सकता, जानवर हमको देख के हंस रहा है. फिर जापानीज पुलिस अंदर गई. 1 घंटे के बाद बाहर आ गई. कहना no, we cannot find no deer. उसके बाद अमेरिकन पुलिस अंदर गई, आधे घंटे के बाद बाहर आ गई, कहती है I'm sorry dear, there's no deer. किसी को हिरन नहीं मिला. पाकिस्तानी पुलिस गई, 10 मिनट के बाद बाहर आ गई हाथी को लेकर. हाथी कहता आ रहा हूँ कि हाँ मैं हिरन हूँ. मैंने कह दिया भाई मैं हिरन हूँ, खुदा की कसम मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मैं ही हिरन हूँ. I had a friend of mine, he just bought a new car. A really nice car, like one of those Lexuses and whatever, and he wanted to take his father for the first ride in that car as a way to show him appreciation, right? Jaise hota hai, out of respect, right? I happened to be there that day. I'm sitting in the back seat. His father sits in the passenger seat. My buddy is driving the car, turns on the GPS, and that woman starts talking. Now, the father, who is a little bit old school, very old-fashioned, traditional, he says, no, this woman cannot talk. She's not mehram for you. And we try to convince him that, look, this is what it is. It's not a real person. And he was adamant about the fact of, no, you have to get rid of this. So he reprograms that voice and gets some other voice. I hadn't seen him in maybe a month. A month later, I see him. And he says, yeah, come on, man, let's go. I'll take you out somewhere. I said, okay, fine. I got in the car. GPS voice goes on. I swear to God, it sounded exactly like Amar Nakshwani. You know? Driving down the street, all of a sudden I hear, in 3/4 of a mile, make a left turn onto Avenel Avenue. I swear to God, all I was waiting for that GPS to say was, with your loudest of salawat, and it would have... It's crazy, man, you know? You know, it is a crazy time, but to be part of a community where you have people that you can go to in times of need, where you can enjoy a few laughs with each other. I think that is one of the greatest blessings. And I am so grateful to have been here tonight. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more loud round of applause for Brother Salman Jafri for coming out here tonight. And let's promise to follow up on that commitment to support our local artists and have Brother Salman come back here again in the future for events like this. Thank you very much. Good night.